2, 1. Hello and welcome to the show. Welcome to the first episode of Bicycle Therapy. This is episode 1 on this channel. We started over on my other channel, but now we are on this channel. This is its own thing. We wanted to make it official. Jason and I are getting married.
Yeah, but not right now.
I do is appropriate.
Later.
I do.
Yeah, not right now. We don't have everybody here.
We don't have the whole gang.
I'm just proud that I had my computer volume turned off this time. So I'm learning. I didn't have my microphone on when we started though, so I think we're good now.
We're getting there.
I was just too jazzed, too excited to be here, so I had to get all my things arranged so I can figure out how to perform.
Let's get into it, dude.
Let's get into it. What are we getting into? What are we doing?
We're getting into, so this episode, feel free to ask questions. We want you guys to be involved just as much as we're involved. This is about the comments. This is about the people.
Yes, not so much about us. I mean,
this episode's about
more
us.
It's about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this episode's about getting to know us. Who are we? Who are the bicycle therapists? Who's getting therapized?
Are we the therapist? Well, I think we've covered this before, but it is a joint therapizing situation.
I think it's cathartic.
Yeah.
It's going to be a cathartic experience.
We're catheterizing each other?
You know, we're still learning words.
I don't know.
We're getting there, dude.
Catheterizing, therapizing, and
theropods.
Getting through life with bikes is what we do most.
So, what did Curtis Cole say?
That's not. He doesn't want us catheterizing. I think he would even know. Although he's almost 50, so
he's getting up there.
He probably knows.
He's gonna have something put in his pee-pee hole.
We're not even 5 minutes in, and we got that one.
That's what happens when you get old, man. It's not for the faint of heart.
The doctors just want to prod you with more things.
Yeah, they're like, "Do you want to be 70% medication?"
No, I don't. Would you like us to put this tube in an orifice?
No.
No. Well, if you do, we like it.
Yeah.
That's what they say. They just like doing it. They like doing it. I don't love it when they do it, but
no one loves it. But you know, we're rolling on this.
It saves you from dying.
Sometimes.
Supposed to be.
Sometimes it saves you from dying, and sometimes it just hurts you. But you know.
Right. Most of the time, it hurts you, and you actually don't want it to save you from dying.
Okay.
That's the goal. The goal is to go through lots of discomfort and never have to have that discomfort save your life.
Okay. I think I understand.
I get it. Even if you don't, it's fine.
So let's jump into what we got going on. So we want to introduce ourselves, but we're going to interview each other. Great. We're going to ask each other questions about each other to get to know each other. Because during this podcast, I have learned a lot about Jason, my co-host and co-therapizer. That's a word.
Yeah.
And we want to share it.
Our word.
And we want to connect with you, the viewer,
right?
And get to know you. And you get to know us. And then ask questions. Have fun.
And that's how we get this this ball rolling on this here channel. You
the
like
first
us,
thing,
we like you, and then we all gather every Tuesday night. We hang out. We talk about bike stuff and whatever else might might pop up. And hopefully you all join us. The reason for doing it live is that you can join us in the chat with us, because otherwise you just have to listen to us. And like, as awesome and entertaining as we are,
we're the best.
Once we add you in, it's better for everybody.
It's amazing.
That's the whole point. Nick, I think everybody knows by now. What's the name of this show?
This is called Bicycle Therapy.
How do we end up with that name?
How did we end up with that? It was just kind of like...
I don't...
Well, we wanted to have a show...
There's a few things, but yeah.
Where we talk about bike stuff.
Right.
But kind of as the point of view of being bike mechanics.
Right.
and then being able to connect with other people in the industry, and then share with you guys
Right.
and get your feedback and your.
And as we did our first few episodes, starting
Yeah.
before Christmas,
Yeah, it was right at the end of November.
right at the end, when we did our first few episodes, just more general talk of life, co-intermingling with bikes, kind of popped up here, and we figured might as well therapize each other.
Yeah.
So
Have a good place. I
here we are.
mean, we have a combined 50 years of knowledge, I believe, on bicycles. Maybe 100.
Maybe 100, depending on how honest we are with our ages.
So we got tons of experience. I mean, everything from wheel building to suspension to building dirt jumps to building bicycles to bicycle infrastructure to bicycle community. Like
Starting and running a bike shop.
running a bike shop, having
Yeah.
employees,
So many things that we have done. So,
getting your first prostate exam.
yeah.
Hello, 40.
Plus. Yep. So,
We won't
that's,
cover that
that's
part.
where we're going to go. We're going to chat a little bit about who we are, what the show is. Hopefully that sort of explains where this is going to go down the road. And our goal, our hope really is to bring all of you into this with us, to bring you into this little bicycle therapy family. And we'll group therapize. So where are we going? Am I first?
You're first, dude.
Mick.
Ooh, he has questions that I have not seen.
I wrote questions. No, yeah, you haven't seen.
No questions.
Nope. First, they're easy.
They're easy.
They're
Okay,
easy.
lay it on me,
Nick,
Big
how
Daddy.
old are you?
39. I'm not even 40
You're
yet.
not even 40 yet? Oh.
But I did get my first.
Does that happen in the 2024 then, I assume?
Yep, this year I'll be 40.
All right.
Yep. And I'm in the best shape of my life.
Are you?
Almost. No.
No.
Almost.
When were you in the best shape of your life?
22.
Really?
Yeah.
It's
Amazing. Six pack. I was ripping.
Pixar didn't happen, my
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Bring those. If we're getting married, then I need to see.
Yeah.
I need to see what the potential is, my guy.
I haven't had a carb in 3 years.
That's awesome. So you're 39.
Yeah.
So you're going to break 40 this year. How do you feel like 40? Does it have a sensation for you, or is it just same old?
I mean, I guess like when you're rounding this, like there's a lot of things you just don't care about. Like the unimportant stuff, especially with kids. You're just like,
How many
a
kids do you
lot.
have?
2.
4? Oh, 2.
Yeah. You
Okay.
have 4. Mandela effect. We'll get into it.
Right. I'm convinced I only have 3. It's
Yeah.
entirely possible there's 4. They're just never in the same spot at the same time.
It's a trans-dimensional thing.
So we're working on it. Figure it out. Currently, right now, at the age of 39,
Yeah.
with 2 kids, what do you do for work?
Freelance video, like camera operator. Yeah.
Which means this
And
beautiful
editor.
video that you see that makes us look like
Yeah.
it brings out the amazing good looks that we have,
Yeah.
so that you can enjoy it.
And the rustic
That's
background.
all you're doing. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, all the
which
lighting.
Is great. You do the lighting, the cameras. You own the cameras. You own all this stuff. 'Cause
Yep.
I don't have it here. And
Proper.
it looks great. And we have a really good looking YouTube channel here.
It's amazing.
One of us is buzzing on. I don't know who it is.
Not me.
We are going to periodically be looking at our phones and our
Ooh.
computers, because that's how some people still respond to us through our phones, and some people respond to us through the chat.
Random thing that actually I'm going to throw out there. This is random, a little off track.
Go.
State legislature for Colorado is about to pass a
Government.
law where it's illegal to have a phone in your hand in the car.
Whilst driving a motor vehicle.
Yep. That looks like it's going to go through.
Love it.
Yeah. So put your phone down,
Put your
use
phone down,
text to
drive your
talk.
car. Don't even do that.
Yeah. Just drive. Look at the road.
Dude, yeah, I'm 100% there on all of this. My oldest child, my firstborn, that's the same thing. She just got her driver's license today.
Yeah.
And yes, it's terrifying. She's good. She's responsible. She's tried hard to be a good driver, but everybody else is the worst. That's what has me terrified.
I had a police officer pull up behind me and pull their phone up and start checking it in traffic.
Yeah, it's just the normal thing to just
Dude,
check it while you're driving.
you could literally, if you need to contact somebody, there's auto. You can say, "Hey Google, call Curtis Cole," and will my phone do
really,
it?
how often do you need to call someone while you're driving?
No, we're addicted to
you
our
don't need to.
phones. That's why this is videographied in vertical format. Is not meant for your phone. It's meant to sit down, relax, and listen to our soothing voices.
Horizontal.
I have a question for you.
Okay, I'll answer a question.
What goes around
Maybe.
comes around.
Yeah, shoot.
How old are you?
I'm 43.
Woo!
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I have passed beyond the veil of the 40 for a short minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, 43. 3 kids. That's the story that I'm working with right now. So, but you've worked in the bicycle industry for. Well, you don't currently work in the bicycle industry.
No, I have stepped back.
Did you work? How many years would you say you had worked in the bicycle industry in various ways?
20 plus, yeah. 20 plus years in the bike industry. So I started in the year, my first bike shop job was in the year 2000. And then I started riding bikes, like really getting into bike riding, BMX, in 97.
Where?
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Riding BMX bikes in North Carolina. Did you have parks to go to?
Not really. We had to dig them.
So BMX riding for you in the 90s in North Carolina was about digging jumps and jumping your BMX bikes.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And every once in a while there would be like a rogue skate park that opened up in like a park and ride because people at that time never parked and rode their bikes. So there'd be these park and ride lots, and every once in a while somebody would build a box jump in it.
Huh.
And it turned into a little skate park.
Little pop-up.
A little pop-up skate park, and there was one that got away for, I think they just allowed it. They're like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And it was a box jump and a couple quarter pipes, all rickety. But, back then you couldn't get a skate park built, but like you could have this like rickety like DIY hodgepodge, and somebody'd be like, sure, go for it.
Let them have it.
Yeah. And they go, well, okay. And then you try to get one built through the city, and they're like, it's drugs and graffiti.
Oh, well, it was, but
What's wrong with drugs and graffiti?
city officials.
just not the bad ones.
City officials don't like them.
Okay.
That's
The bad ones.
yeah, fair enough. So you've worked in a number of bike shops. How many different bike shops have you worked in?
1,
Go.
2,
Oh, we're gonna sit here and listen to you.
3, 4, at least 6 bike shops, maybe 7.
At least 6, maybe 7.
7.
depending on how much you.
Yeah, and I've worked for bike
trust your
companies
memory
too.
right now. We're getting there.
Yeah,
We're getting there. 6 bike shops,
Yep.
maybe 7.
and a pedicab company.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and a pro cyclist mechanic.
Of 6 bike shops, what kinds of shops? Like, did they have a sort of specific, sort of cycling that they catered to? What kind of bike shops were they? That you
Yeah,
worked in?
North Carolina definitely is more road cross country,
Okay.
and then like you were like kind of on the outside of society if you like did downhill or BMX. You're like
Oh, gotcha.
you're edgy. So
Okay.
definitely a lot more road. In Raleigh, it's rolly, and there's actually some fun stuff. It's
Rolly?
like up and down, up and
Raleigh
down.
is rolly.
It's a roller coaster. A
Gotcha.
lot of quick little hills.
Ah, I see.
And then the mountains are 3.5 hours away to get to some hills.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's not nothing.
Yeah.
That's a
it's-
trip. That's a
yeah.
trip. Yeah. Okay. What else? So kind of a road shop mostly. Some cross country
Yeah,
stuff.
road, and then mostly everybody did
After
cross
that,
country.
what else?
The 2 shops I worked at were kind of road with like cross country mountain bike, and then
Okay. They do a lot of like family, like
Yeah, they're all around
type-
bike shops. You
yeah.
couldn't be a bike shop in Raleigh, North Carolina without kind of selling everything.
so yeah.
Because it's
road-
not a destination like Colorado.
So road and XC Mountain kind of filled out the sort of performance end of the spectrum,
Yeah.
but then a pretty decent core of recreational, family-oriented
Yeah.
stuff,
Hybrids.
hybrids.
Yeah. I mean,
Cruisers.
the one shop I worked at, we did, it wasn't a huge shop. I would say it's probably the size of your shop, about. And they sold your retail location.
Oh, the other one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like they sold a little bit of everything.
Okay.
BMX.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at that time BMX was like booming. Like 98 through mid 2000s, BMX was like
Dave Mira.
it was hot, dude. Balloon font letters and logos, oversized dropouts, 14mm axles,
3-piece cranks.
3-piece cranks. You
Three pieces on those cranks.
Yeah. Because the one piece would bend if you dropped anything larger
Right.
than 3 stairs.
Yeah, yeah.
Whoop.
Or-
And you're like, why are my cranks pedaling?
with children riding these. These aren't like grown-ass men
yeah.
dropping these bikes. These are children dropping on these things and bending the cranks.
And
Okay.
then you instantly have to go back to the bike shop and buy more.
That's how they do it.
Yeah.
Fucking bike shops, man. They're always trying to get you. Sell you something trash, and then you break it, and then you got to take it back.
Tim DaCosta says he needs a 4-piece crank. I would agree with that. If you've ever ridden with Tim DaCosta, he is a nut. If you want to be scared,
I've heard he needs a 4-piece crank.
if you want to be scared, just follow Tim down stuff. I stopped doing that. We had a trip out to Sedona.
Yeah, you're almost 40, man. You're
Yeah.
not going to be doing that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And you follow Tim through some stuff, and you're like, no, I'm done. Like, we can hang out as friends and go to the skate park, but I don't think I can follow him on trailless anymore. Last time I was
too
there,
bad.
he said, let's do the Palisade Plunge. And I said, no. I am not in Death March shape.
No, neither of us have done the Palisade Plunge, but it's penciled in as a bicycle therapy group event sometime in the
Yeah.
future, just not in the summer.
Now that I've gone keto, I think I might be able to keep up with Tim.
Oh, damn. Shots fired, bud.
Yeah.
All right, so road, XC, family, little BMX. Anything start to change as you went to different shops?
Ooh. So I was at I did one shop for I worked there for half a year. I was 14. I had to get a worker's permit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then I went to the next shop and I was there for 7 years. I worked at this one shop for 7 years.
Ooh, wow, I've never been in a
Yeah. But I
any
mean,
job that long.
I also was a kid and riding bikes. I started
Sure.
that job when I was 15 and was there. And I was also traveling and doing BMX contests.
Okay.
So on weekends, I would go drive to New York, New Jersey, or Florida, Georgia, all the East Coast stuff. So it was
That's the BMX equivalent of being on a traveling soccer team for a kid.
yeah. But yeah,
Did you get paid though, right?
I
Them big bucks?
only got paid from.
Or do they just let you as a kid drink beer?
I actually didn't start making money at contests till I started riding 26-inch bikes.
Ah.
Yeah, so there was a switch. I was hardcore BMX.
Plus size BMX. Is that what you called it?
Plus size BMX?
Yeah.
I was part of a
remember
website,
Yeah.
and it was called Plus Size BMX, but it was not my site.
Right.
Someone else's. I worked there,
Gotcha.
and I helped, and I created content and shake weights.
Okay.
But then that was at the end of that, I started working at a pedicab company because I really wanted to get a carny vibe to me.
In North Carolina?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the company was the first pedicab company in North Carolina. And I started out as a driver, driving around going, hey, you want to ride? Hey, you want to ride? And it was interesting. You have to sell yourself every night.
Is that when you were 22 and fit as fuck?
Oh, dude, I would eat 3 dinners because I'm pedicabbing people around
Yeah.
in the city. And Raleigh's hilly. It's actually easier.
I've heard this. earlier tonight. I
Yeah.
heard that Raleigh is rolly.
Okay, it is easier to pedicab in Denver than it is in Raleigh. 100%. It's up and down,
Because
rolling.
our pedicabbing takes place in the flat part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got one
Down
road.
there. Yeah.
You go up it, down it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I did that, and then I became the manager of the company. Worst thing you can do is go to manager.
Correct.
Owners want to take their best employees and make them the manager.
Yeah. And the good employees, especially if they're good at driving pedicabs or fixing bicycles, are generally bad at managing people and things.
Yeah, I thought I did.
Or you've just not been taught how.
Yeah, I thought I did amazing, but I probably didn't.
You might have. You probably didn't do too much poorly or better than anybody else who had done it either. So
Yeah, it was rough, man. Like, I mean, the thing was, is like we would have events on a Saturday at 9 a.m. So somebody has to be at the warehouse at 8, fix stuff that got broken the other night, get the bikes out. Then you might be able to take a nap midday, and then dinner starts, and you have to get all the bikes out, fix anything that's broken, and then you're out till 3. And I had some days where, yeah, I started at 8 and got home at 4 in the morning. Started at 8 in the morning and then got home at 4
that's
in the morning.
definitely a young man's living.
Yeah, and then I would sleep till like 2 or 3 the next day.
Sure.
And then Monday I would just be like, I can't move.
Right.
I mean, like the driving part of pedicabbing is fun. When you can go out and have fun with people,
Sure.
It's awesome.
Oh, hey. How are
Hey,
you doing?
welcome to the show.
I'm getting the
We have a little visitor.
markers in the final.
Do you need help?
No.
You got him? All right. Here, I'll get the door.
Sometimes the kiddos need markers. It is a crucial part. Welcome
I,
to family life.
If I was more okay with having my children posted on the internet, I would let you guys meet her. But
Yeah, it's
I'm not into it.
Yeah, not really.
I don't need my children being on the internet.
No, sir.
That was Ivy, my youngest. She needed the marker.
You gotta have markers. As a
Markers.
kid, you crayons, markers.
Well,
paints.
tomorrow's Valentine's Day,
Oh shit! I gotta take my wife out.
dude.
Lunch.
I mean, you should do that. My wife and I have never done Valentine's Day. We're not believers, neither one of us. I got lucky in that regard.
Good.
Um,
You know what?
That's my advice to all you young men out there, all you whippersnappers. Find yourself a woman who don't need no diamonds and don't need no Valentine's Day, don't need no roses and flowers. Find yourself one of them. That's
think
my
that-
advice.
The only thing I get asked for is flowers, so I just do it because I'm like, you want flowers? It's cool. But that's it.
You know what I'm doing for my wife? It's not for Valentine's Day, but it's
Fixing
for
the fence.
her. No.
Because that's what you do when you're 40. And
well,
you're
yeah.
married.
I'm figuring out how to build.
Hold on. A water heater.
No. You want to guess? Do you want to guess what I'm trying to build for my wife in February?
HVAC.
No.
Garden box.
You're getting there.
Oh, elevated garden box.
Well, so we need a way to start we grow a pretty nice garden. We grow a pretty good garden every
yeah.
year.
Basil and tomatoes.
Um,
Basil and
Of course,
tomatoes.
everything. But you got to start your starters. You got to start your babies
Now.
here in the next few weeks. And we used to do it here in the shop, but I rearranged and our space that we did it is not really there anymore. So I have a shed out back that I'm going to build some insulated space in with some heat lamps and some grow
Ooh.
lights so that we can start our baby plants.
Baby.
That's what I'm doing. for
Baby
my
herb
life.
garden.
Was this
Well-
on the baby or the herb? Baby herb.
Baby.
Baby herb.
Welcome to Colorado. You're like,
You don't know if you're growing babies or herbs. I don't know which one it is. You got to get your quotations on the right word.
Got it. It's invisible brake levers.
There you go. I might be stopping. Anyway,
Well, that's besides
Valentine's Day is tomorrow. She's got to finish her Valentine's cards for
Yeah.
class. I built her Valentine's box this last week. Looks like a mailbox. It's pretty dope. So that's what she was doing.
Yeah.
Up next. So road, mountain. I mean, would you say you've worked in a bike shop that's covered virtually every
Yeah.
spectrum of bicycling?
Yeah.
Track racing.
I mean, there a little bit, but not much. I did actually do a video project for USA Cycling about the women's track.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
pretty cool.
it was kind of cool. They were real fun. We did like funny videos
Sure.
because they were going to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, when I moved to Denver, there was a lot more fixie, and it was during the fixie craze of 2009, 2010.
Yeah,
Where
I
every-
had one then. It's right there.
Ooh,
Yeah, that orange one.
yeah, creamsicle.
Yeah.
But I've never been to a velodrome. Yeah.
I've never been to one to ride. I've been to one as a mechanic.
Seems like a lot of work.
I
Really
mean,
good time.
track race. I mean, there's working as a mechanic for track racing is easier than most stuff because fewer things can go wrong.
Yeah.
They don't have all the gears and stuff to work on. And if they get a flat, like it's over. You're not like. I mean, there's a few events where you might be able to swap a wheel and get them back on, but generally not. I'll give you a little piece of information.
Yeah.
I've got a. Speaking of track racing and flat tires and wheel changes, I've got a chain whip up there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
of them.
I have two of them. One of them's a 1/8 chain. That upper one right there.
So this is
Yeah.
the big boy.
This is the big boy. 1/8 chain for track bikes.
So that's a big, thick.
Yeah, big thick chain.
most
I won
premium.
this in 2009 at the USA Cycling Mechanics Clinic where I got my
Oh, yeah.
mechanics certification. I won this for fastest track wheel change.
Ooh.
And it was made by Calvin Jones of Park Tool. You guys can look him up. If you go to Park Tool and you see the guy with the mustache who's all sorts of fun, and he does a lot of Park Tool's how-to videos.
Yeah. And that's actually why I don't do how-tos is because the Park Tool channel is so freaking good.
It's so good.
Like-
you can't hardly beat Calvin Jones for
Yeah.
A, knowledge and B, just pure entertainment. So, but he made this chain whip because back then Park Tool didn't actually make a 1/8 chain whip for sale.
That's the thick tooth one.
Yeah, the thick one. So he made this, and then it was offered up as a prize for the 2009 Mechanics Clinic for fastest track wheel change. There you go.
Very fast.
All right, we can move on.
Lots of questions.
This one's okay. It's initially a very simple question. You can expound on it if you like. Did you enjoy working in bike shops?
For the first bit, yeah. Yeah, for like, I would say when I moved to Denver, that was a really fun time. I got kind of bored in North Carolina. Like, the culture wasn't there to do what I was doing.
Okay.
And I was going to other places that had bicycle culture where like people went out on big rides and did cool things and pushed the limits. And that just wasn't really happening in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Gotcha.
It's gotten a little bit better. There's some cool bike parks and skate parks and stuff.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you love about working in bike shops?
Community. I mean, like, yeah, you just see a lot of people every day.
Yeah.
That are interested, and you get to put them in a path. Like if they need a hand, like getting their first bike, or like they're upgrading to the next thing. You kind of can talk with them and work with them on that. The mechanic side of things, especially in a mountain shop, gets hard because they're so freaking complicated, and that gets to be. I think that's the most frustrating part. Is just dealing with suspension issues and brake bleeds that don't work and dropper posts and mountain bikes are complicated now.
They are. Yep.
And it takes a lot of skill to work on them. And even if you have a ton of skill, like sometimes stuff doesn't go right.
Right.
You
Stuff
know?
is
Like this damper is not working and I've done everything I can. And now you got to call a customer and it's got to go to Fox and it's a month in the stand.
yeah. Sure.
that type of stuff's, was frustrating. But what did I like? I think just community. Yeah, just like working with cool people, going on rides. I think actually in my career overall, I think I got spoiled working with people who like what they do. And
Yeah.
when you start to step outside of the bike world, you realize that a lot of people are miserable at their jobs. They just have to do it.
I've heard this.
They've got to make the living. And I did it for a little while. And now I'm back to freelancing because, hey, if you get a crappy project and a hard boss, you have them for that project and then you're done. And you don't have to go back and work with them again. Or like if you have a crappy job and you go in every day and it's not fun, you got to deal with that every day.
Right. All you can do is try to get a different job. And
I think
we're not here to crap on everybody who doesn't have the cool,
Yeah.
the cool life living
No.
we got.
there are
But
jobs.
no.
There are jobs that like I would love to like. I wouldn't mind working at Parks and Rec, but dealing with other people and the drama of some of the like when I worked at Parks and Rec here, like I like the job. I like being outside. I like working hard. But there are a lot of people who don't, and you have to work with them and work around. I don't want to do that. And then
It's interesting how in the bike shop, community and people is something that you love, but outside of it can actually be something that makes that work environment harder.
yeah, a lot of people when I was working at Denver, I was doing the bike parks.
Right.
And after people worked with me and a couple of the bike crew because we wanted to build cool jumps, they didn't want to work with us anymore. They went to the supervisor and said, we don't want to work with them because they work too hard. And I'm like, we got to get this done. Like if the bike park's not running, no one's going to fix it.
Except you,
and we don't want to close it. So that was the tough part. And so I don't mind, I worked for CDOT, I worked at some other places, and I didn't mind the work. It was fun. You get to work with bulldozers and front end loaders and like
Awesome.
heavy machinery, and it's
Big
like
toys. Nice.
big toys. Like
Yeah.
I would drive one of the big front end loaders like through Evergreen to go fill it with diesel, and I'm just like, this is so cool. But then you got to deal with the other people who are not stoked to be there, and the weirdness. There's just
Yeah.
some weird stuff that goes on. So like, yeah, going out of a job where people like what they do, care about it, they have their own goals and things that they're doing, to like where people are just showing up to the 9 to 5 and they talk about how good the benefits are. The good, great benefits.
Great benefits.
Great benefits. Okay.
You love your day. No, but man, those benefits
I
got
mean,
that.
Yeah, we need benefits, but like,
Now, granted, when those people are in their 60s and they've got that retirement that's been part of those benefits for a while, and I have been self-employed for a long time, and I don't have that same thing,
yeah,
well, it might be different.
you gotta save. Yeah.
Trying.
I have a,
Saving's hard when you spent a significant amount of time as your self-employment in significant debt because you tried to run a retail bike store.
yeah.
We'll just touch on that pert near every show. How
Yeah.
I once had a bike store and now I don't. We can move on though. You got my next question. What'd you love? What'd you hate? But you've worked in the bike industry outside of the traditional bike shop.
Yeah.
Doing what?
I rode for Eastern Bikes, BMX and dirt jumper, and now they kind of make everything. But back in the day, they didn't have. They started making dirt jumpers right when I was like kind of helping out. I had some friends working there. I got to kind of like work on some of the early stuff and ride some of the early frames that they made. They made a really good bike called the Night Train that I enjoyed a lot. Steel frame, really short back end, so it was great for manuals and skate park riding. But I was sponsored by them, which means they give you some free parts.
Cool, man.
Yeah, some free parts, and they paid for my hotel a few times to go to a couple events. It was cool. I got
Yeah, it's definitely cool.
it's cool. So I did some stuff with them. and helped out in the warehouse from time to time. And then I also worked at Tommaso Cycling, which is like a road mountain company. Tommaso was like an Italian frame maker from way back in the day, famous. And now it's, the company's been bought and sold, and
Right.
they make okay bikes.
They make okay bikes.
Yeah.
What did you do for Tommaso?
I did all their media. I built out all of their e-commerce, video, and product photography. And did their social media. And bought advertising.
And now you don't work in the bike industry.
No.
We covered that. So let me ask you this.
Gingy doesn't have a 401k. You should have a Roth. Do you have a Roth?
I explained this.
Do you have a Roth?
I'm.
$10 a month. Can we all contribute to his Roth so this man...
It is on my plan for this year to kick that off.
Okay.
I don't have one.
Okay.
When you are deeply in debt because you tried to run a retail bike store, even the idea of putting money away to Roth is very hard. Like I can take the criticism. I know it's real, but like when I close my store, like when you have a bike shop, most bike shops are running off of just like flipping debt every year, right? Like
Yeah,
you get some and hope you can pay it off, and they always have and are carrying some. All right, and I did, and I had to pull the plug on my store, the nuclear button, boom, shut it down very quickly. So that left me with a pile. So when you're running something like a store, there's a temptation to believe that this season will be the season where you fix the things. All right? Like, oh, last season I felt like we were close. Let's try this, let's Let's bring in this brand, or let's this. And these, you're basically trying to play Tetris with like marketing and budgets and people and staff and just what you have inventory just sitting on the floor and all of these things, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of works. Some things work, some things don't. And most bike shops are in this situation, and they're just and you think if I fix it this year, then I'll be able to like
Well, you know what your problem
put
was?
money away and start paying myself.
You weren't selling enough beach cruisers.
Well, I wasn't selling enough beach cruisers, right? Like I wasn't like you. If you talk to people who work in bike shops or owners, you always hear these stories how owners are like, "Oh, I hardly pay myself." It's true.
Sometimes.
Some
I think
owners are-
there's a breaking point where you get big enough where you
Sure.
actually make.
Yeah, I'm talking like run of the mill,
Yeah.
most average bike shops. The owners,
I think the
if
average...
they're good and if they're smart, sure, yeah, maybe they've been putting some money into a retirement thing, whatever. But if you're like me and you're just like I was, dealing with just hoping if you just make these changes each year, you'll fix it, and then if you're moving on, you'll be making money.
Next
you can
year.
put money away.
Next
You
year.
can pay yourself. You can put money away, and it doesn't work. And now I'm working from home. I've been doing this for 4 seasons now. I paid off all of my business debt. I paid it off
Done.
without bankruptcy, without my credit score dipping below 680. See, this is why this is bicycle therapy, because sometimes you're going to get more information than really you probably were signing up for, because sometimes Jason says too much.
Yeah.
But anyway, I
I
had
was
all
going to
this.
say, I'm at like 820, dude.
Good for you. Good for you.
That's old man bragging. When you're like, my credit score is...
But no, like when
Did you hear
But
that?
I paid off so much debt, and what?
Tinder, this is a great segue. Tinder's going to start having credit scores.
Of
But
course
continue.
they are. Of course they are. Yes. This is important for,
You were
for me.
like, but I paid it off. I accomplished my goals.
Right.
And I didn't put it on to the next person. And I'm like, did you hear Tinder's going to start checking credit scores?
Well, it just means my stock in Tinder is going to go up.
Hell yeah, brother.
Right. But that's all I'm saying. It's like, yes.
It's a vicious cycle,
I paid
dude.
off a bunch of shit, got out of a dark hole, some dark moments in life, and came out of it, right?
Yeah.
So Yes, the goal is now that things are that stuff is behind me. I have more money in my personal banking
Baller.
than I've
this
had
guy.
in a long time, and I'm
Yeah.
working from home in my garage.
Yeah. Then you get to
So
like,
yeah, money will start to get put away.
and you don't have to go to a place that has to be open on the weekends. I think that's the other tough part about the bike shop life is like it's a weekend business. It's service industry. So it's like, hey, like especially when you get to family.
Yeah,
The weekends are tough. So
weekends are tough. Evenings
weekends
are tough.
are tough.
Yeah, I spent 7 years hardly ever being home for dinner because I owned a retail store.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say I started my first Roth IRA at 25 because I won a Thule rack at the Teva Mountain Games. I won a Thule rack. I sold it on Craigslist
Yeah.
for $300 and I started a Roth IRA.
Dude, I am proud of you. Like, that's great.
I mean, it's like, it's cool, but it's like, what does it mean? Like, I don't have like a retirement.
No, and I don't either. I just,
Yeah.
I know I'll be working for a long time,
I
but
just want to choose.
I know I have a better outlook now due to choices that have been made and where I'm at now. So
let's rewind. We talked a lot about me, which is awesome.
dude, I got like a whole fucking page of questions.
I know, but let's talk
What
about
time is
Jason
it?
because
It's 8:40.
one thing I learned about Jason that I didn't know is that Jason.
Yeah, it's my natural
Hold on.
hair color.
Let me get my microphone.
Born with it. Maybe
Jason
I'm
started his
born with
career. I thought you were just like another Midwesterner that moved out here. I was like, oh, he's probably from Chicago, Illinois.
Do I have Midwestern vibes?
Not really, but I was like, sometimes Milwaukee can get a little punk rock. You got a little bit of this, a little of that. But no, Jason grew up right here in Colorado,
Right here in Colorado.
right in Grand Junction.
Grand Junction. Fourth generation
Holy cow.
colonizer.
Congratulations.
I mean,
I get
it's reality.
covered wagons and stuff.
Yes. Yes.
So you
Fourth
grew up in
generation
Grand
from
Junction?
Grand Junction, Western Slope. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. Grew up there. Grew up riding bikes everywhere. Before we didn't call it mountain biking when I was a kid. We just rode our bikes in the mountains. And then
Yeah.
I found out that like mountain biking existed when I was like 12,
Yeah.
and it broke my world open.
It was just like kabam.
Yeah, exactly.
Native. Dude, do you have a native bumper sticker? Because
I
when you
don't.
live in Colorado,
No,
you got to have a native bumper sticker.
I did like 20 years ago.
Okay. What about,
Before I found out that that's like,
Can you-
It's not so cool.
here's another quiz. What are the top 3 to 4 bumper stickers in Colorado? Go.
Dude, you're asking me to have paid attention. Top 3 to 4 coexist.
That's kind of everywhere.
Is it ever? Okay.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Colorado.
Colorado.
Do you want me to start it off?
I Ski Heartland.
Yep. I ski Loveland.
I Ski Loveland.
Yep. Come on, brands. Think brands.
Brands.
2 ski brands everywhere, all the time.
Never Summer.
Yep. And Icelandic
Yep.
and Yeti. So when you move to Colorado with
Yeah,
your Subaru,
sure.
you have to have Icelandic, you have to have Never Summer, Yeti,
Yeah.
and I Heart Loveland.
You can also
I
you
ski-
doesn't have to be a Subaru. You can also be a Tacoma or a 4Runner.
Yeah, those are the 3 accepted.
Also allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why Steve has native stickers on all his bikes. Steve does have native stickers on all my bikes. It's tattooed on my back.
Yeah.
I'll show you guys next week.
Native, dude. So you grew up in
Junktown.
the junk town, dude, right
Yeah.
next to Palisade Peaches.
Yeah.
And
Yes. I used to work in the orchards.
and you rode
the
with your
peaches and
brother.
stuff.
Younger or older?
Both. Well, I have both.
Oh.
I've got my older brother is a year older than me, and then my younger brother is 4 years younger. So once my older brother got his driver's license when he was 16, that's when we started
Really getting
just
after
going riding pretty much every weekend we could at
Did you ever go to the sketchy skate park? Was that
the
around?
one off of like First and yeah.
Yeah, with like the keyhole bowl.
So I didn't ride that stuff. I went there. That was actually
And
was
you
the
looked
first
at
place
it.
I saw some boys doing drugs, and I
Well, skate
promptly
park.
got out of there. Skate park.
Graffiti and drugs.
Yeah. There was graffiti and
Yep.
drugs, and I bounced because the Baptist pastor's boy does not belong there. So
Yeah.
never did that.
Were they saying curse words too?
Jeff Young thinks I was a slave.
I don't know what that means.
I mean,
Please clarify, Jeff Young.
slave to the Lord. I don't know.
Yeah.
What?
Okay,
So,
but
but yeah.
Next
I'm
thing-
not from the Midwest. I'm
thank God.
from here. Yeah.
Because if you tried to make me drink
That's why I'm going to drink this Nativa.
Native, brought to you by Native. By the way, we will never accept sponsorship from a bike company.
Correct.
Only beer, wine, and tobacco,
Exactly. Beer, wine, tobacco.
but not vapes, not Evo, not. No, I would take sponsorship.
Hair products, definitely.
Yeah, hair products. I would take
sure.
sponsorship of rally cars. I would take a rally car
Of
sponsorship,
course. Yep.
but not vaping. Absolutely
No
no
vaping.
vaping.
Against it.
Vape Nation is not where we're at.
Not welcome.
But speaking of Vape Nation, so you, but you did spend some time on the East Coast for a little while. In my neck of the woods.
I spent almost 2 years in Chesapeake, Virginia.
Oh, Lord.
Chesapeake, Virginia.
Oh.
Not there near Norfolk. Just round the bend. Yeah, I spent almost 2 years in Chesapeake, Virginia. It's Chesapeake, Virginia Beach. It's all the same thing. I worked at a bike shop in Virginia Beach, which was road bikes, beach cruisers, BMX, and family hybrids.
Because there was like a big half pipe. There was like a little bit of a scene in the Virginia
There was a
Beach.
scene, yeah. They had a big park.
Mount Trashmore? No,
Mount
that's-
Trashmore.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
exactly right because they took the landfill, covered it over with dirt and planted grass, and it became the highest elevation in Virginia Beach. And then
Yeah.
they built a
Yay, trash!
BMX park there. And then they built a BMX.
Yeah.
So we sold. So my job there, that was my second bike shop job, and my job going into there was just to build bikes all day long. So I built beach cruisers and hybrids and BMX bikes all day, every day, until after being there about a year, then they started letting me do more mechanic work. But they just had so many bikes that needed to be built.
Yeah,
all
Jeff
the time.
Young says olive oil sponsor, 100%, but I'm only doing Spanish olive oils and Moroccan olive oils.
Yeah, we have standards around here.
Yeah. So just saying, dude.
And gummies.
Gummies. Gummy sponsor? Yeah. Gummy.
We'll give it a go.
We just don't want to be sponsored by a bike company. Not that they have any money or that they actually sponsor shows on the internet.
We're not going to be beholden to anyone in the bike industry.
That's going to be an episode later talking about influence.
The only bicycle industry company that has any sway over anything we do is Gingy Cycles.
Yeah.
And they're pretty chill.
Yeah.
They buy us booze every week. So
Yeah. Sponsorships.
Yeah.
Where were we going? Oh, so you spent a little time on the East Coast.
Spent a little time on the East Coast, and I learned what humidity and salty air next to the ocean does to bicycles,
Oh, yeah.
which is awful. And
rusted spokes.
dude, rusted spokes, crumbling handlebars, like every bolt corroding, like the aluminum cable stops. Because cables used to go on the outside of the bike frames, and then they'd have these stops where the housing would go into. The aluminum would
Back
like
when you were a
corrode
kid.
and swell up around the housing and the ferrules and stuff, and you'd never be able to get them out again.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you had to get out with all sorts of horrible tools, and everything smelled like somebody's bunghole.
Oh, and then did you have
Yeah.
the so when
So
you
I
live
left.
at the beach and you open the toilet, it smells like sulfur.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
that's what every bike saddle in Virginia Beach smells like. They all smell like that.
oh,
Except for the
geez.
BMX guys because they don't sit on it. So.
Yeah, you don't sit on your seat.
So.
That's stupid. Yeah, I
Yeah.
commuted to work on my BMX bike for 2 years, 5 miles.
Wow.
Yeah, just
That's amazing.
and then the guys at work gave me a demo Serrata steel, a 10-speed,
Fancy.
10-speed back when before 10-speed, when only Campagnolo,
Had more than 10 speeds.
which when the Campy headset standard came into BMX, that was also a funny time
Oh, right.
because people didn't know how to say Campagnolo.
Why would they?
They'd go, Campangulo?
I mean, it's close enough.
I'll take it. It was
What,
just
what
funny.
else are you going to confuse it for?
Campangulo.
Campingulo. Campingulo. Yeah.
Man, where were we going?
I don't know,
Virginia
we're
Beach,
talking about
rust,
Virginia Beach.
the humidity,
Humidity,
stinky toilets,
stinky bikes,
the sulfur water
aw-
coming through.
awful things. I did do a lot of road biking because that's all there was to do.
Yeah.
Mountain biking was all an hour away and it was terrible.
Yeah. Did
I-
you ride in downtown Richmond? The trails
No,
network
but
through there?
Richmond was like 2 hours or so. It was a
Okay.
while from.
My dad was stationed in Norfolk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did. He's in the Navy.
That would make sense.
Yep.
But no, it was like an hour to get to like the trails for like around Williamsburg, Virginia,
Yeah.
and they were boring.
Yeah, and then you got to go even further, like Massanutten. Did you ever ride downhill?
Yeah, like once.
It's
And
pretty
again,
fun.
it's fine, but like
This is my first
hell of a
downhill.
drive, and it like you couldn't get like speed because everything was just so rocky and rooty. It
Yeah.
was like, and then we were riding. It was like
wanna-
2004,
you-
so bikes were only so good.
2004. I think, man, when was my first downhill bike? That was about the time I got my first downhill bike, and it's probably 2005, 2006, and went up to my first downhill race in Massanutten.
All right.
And let me tell you about the first 10 minutes of downhill racing for me. Actually, no, this was like the first.
10 minutes sounds like an enduro race, bro.
This was when men were men and women were women and people just raced downhill. I don't know what that means. Everybody just races downhill now.
Right?
I instantly regret saying everything. No, it was probably
Massa
like
nuts.
it was probably 30 feet off of the trail. I just built my first downhill bike ever.
Okay.
An Azonic Eliminator. 8-inch
Great.
travel bike. And I start down the trail. My brake levers are up and as far out as they can go. I'm wearing full body armor. And I just start pedaling down the trail, hit a rock, fly over the handlebars, and fill my full face mask with leaves. Instant.
See, that's the great thing about riding in Grand Junction is you never get your helmet filled with leaves.
But you get cut.
I mean, it might get filled up with rocks and sharp dirt.
Dust.
But,
You're inhaling gravel.
dirt
You're-
is sharp, but
yeah.
it won't be leaves. Jeez.
No leaves.
Uh,
Yeah, so that was like big learning curve of like
yeah.
how suspension works and learning how downhill bikes work and
Contrary to BMX bikes. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're different machines. Yep.
just tow your brake pads or your brake levers. Bring your brake levers in because your hands are gonna start hurting.
I did the 24 hours of snowshoe in Snowshoe, West Virginia.
Ooh, rainforest.
24-hour race. It rained for like 3 days straight before the event, so it was
Yeah.
just complete mud slop for.
That
the
sounds like
entire
my
race.
first
it was
race of
horrible.
snowshoe.
Distinct memory is it's like the middle of the night, like midnight, 2 a.m. in the morning, and I'm trudging through the sludge, just walking your bike, and there's the sole of a shoe stuck in the ground, in the mud.
Just ripped
It just
off.
ripped right off of somebody's shoe. So just the sole is just stuck in
Oh,
there.
I'm just glad that you got to experience some East
So,
Coast. Because
Between all of that I, if you haven't gotten the idea, I didn't like living in Virginia. Virginia wasn't all it was cracked up to be, if you ask me, I dare say.
Oh,
No, sir.
no, sir. So, yeah, Snowshoe is very close to being a rainforest as far as rainfall. It is like
I
a
believe
couple
it.
inches
It was
away.
horrible.
It doesn't get quite enough to qualify as a rainforest, but that's how much rain Snowshoe gets in West Virginia.
I think we
So,
could file a petition and
Yeah.
get it.
My
brought in.
first race, I was coming out of BMX riding, freestyle, and I did my first 4-cross and downhill race at the national
We need
championships.
more 4-cross.
And I borrowed my friend's Rasta Stinky,
Nice.
6 inches of travel, and I instantly got out of the gate, was in first place all the way down, and the chain came off the chain guide, and my cranks jammed and stuck vertical, and so I'm hitting jumps with my cranks stuck like this,
Nice.
and I got down to the bottom where the course flattened out, and I ran because I was still in first place. And the guy, right as I was getting to the finish line,
Hip ya?
passed me, and I got second place.
You would have dominated.
I was the
Just
first.
think of how your life would have been
loser.
different had you won that.
I know. I think about it all the time.
You'd be Aaron Gwynn.
I
right
could,
now.
dude. I throw a pigskin a quarter mile.
Yeah.
And then the downhill race that same weekend, I was racing on a Santa Cruz Bullet, and
Sounds so fast.
Uh,
Was it too fast for you?
I flatted halfway down.
Yeah.
Then that's downhill racing.
happen.
That's the end of the story.
Yeah.
No, I still got fourth place, and I just said, screw it. I'm going to buy my friend. I borrowed a bike to ride downhill.
Yeah.
And I was like, I work at a bike shop. I'll just build him a new wheel. And it was a Mavic 729, and there were no dents in it at the bottom.
Very nice.
And I rode it down all the way flat. So, and I still got, I think, third or fourth place. And so, if I just won those 2 races,
Life would have been so much different.
it's called the Uncle Rico
You-
effect.
You'd be 39 with more injuries.
I would have pushed it harder.
Yeah, exactly.
But East Coast,
East
not,
Coast,
the humidity didn't treat you well.
don't love it. I don't love it. I hate it so much.
Traffic, what do you think about East Coast traffic? 95?
Awful.
Did you get killed? No, you're still alive, so
I
you
didn't get
survived.
killed. I survived. But yeah. Traffic it just snarls everywhere. I mean, Denver traffic's not great, but it was terrible. Like, it
No.
just stops everywhere.
I-95 going up to
Yeah.
DC is insane traffic-wise.
Yeah, it took us 6 hours one point to get from
If it's free-
Norfolk to
Yeah.
what's after Richmond? Is that for DC basically?
Yeah, that's the next major city.
Yeah. Anyway, it took forever. And it was supposed to take 2. It took 6. Anyway,
But yeah.
we're not here to complain about that.
Traffic!
Traffic sucks. Yeah, we know. We get it. You can
But then
find
you-
that. You can listen to that every day on the fucking
Traffic.
radio.
As you drive in traffic.
Jockeys. It's all awful. Anyway, what else? What's up? What
But you came back to Denver.
Yeah, I came back. I hated living out there. Living on the East Coast literally made me change my mind about the direction of my life at that moment.
Good.
Yeah. So I came back to Denver.
What year?
2005. Came
All
back
right.
to Denver, yep.
Nice.
So my family still lives in Grand Junction. My wife's family is down east of Pueblo, down on the plains.
Well,
They're
okay.
in state, so Denver. Between the families, bigger area, more opportunities for life. That's where we ended up.
Nice.
So I was working at a little shop in technically Golden, but it was on Youngfield Street over there by Youngfield and I-25. You know where the Applejack liquor store is?
I used to deliver there, yeah.
Just down the street from there, there's a little bike shop called Bike Station,
Backstation.
and I worked there. Their service department was in the basement, and I'd come home with a headache every night.
Why? Because people walking over.
Because service departments with solvents and parts cleaners and everything shouldn't be in basements.
Oh, proper ventilation for your employees?
Correct. Zero ventilation.
Solvents. Let's talk about solvents.
So,
How much TriFlow do you think you have in your blood?
ooh,
Have you had
a
it tested?
lot. Can you do that?
I think so. Teflon.
Can you test my blood for? Can it get in your blood if it goes in your eye?
Yeah. Yes. I think it can be absorbed through your skin.
Because the
It's oil.
feeling of Triflo in your eye.
What type of weird crap did you guys do at the shop?
I'm just saying it's happened.
Oh, skeet.
You think it's gonna hurt, and then it doesn't, and then your eye is weirdly lubricated. And you're like, this isn't right. I'm not gonna do this on purpose, but hey, if you get Triflo in your eye, you'll be fine.
Here's looking at you, kid.
You'll be fine.
Uh,
Yeah, I worked
So-
at Bike Station in Golden.
where else do you work in Denver?
So
The Denver Spoke?
I did not work at the Denver
Oh, okay.
Spoke. So I worked at Bike Station from 2005 to 2009. And it was there at Bike Station where I started to realize that the future for a good bike mechanic in a bike shop is limited. There's only so much you can do. They want to move you into management. I was the service manager for a year. I didn't make much more money. I worked on bikes less, and I did more paperwork, and I talked to the shop owner more.
And angry customers.
Right.
When everything goes
without
wrong.
people tell me I was a liar, and
Yeah.
and then
Well,
my
you're
boss not let me respond to them that I'm not.
No, that's not good customer service.
Well, here's the thing. I also did. I formulated an opinion at that point, which is that the customer is sometimes right,
Yeah. But they're not. Like,
and that's
it's
it.
okay if
It's
you
okay
can
if
say,
they're wrong. It's okay if
hey,
they're wrong.
no, that's not
Like
correct.
the world is better if people know when they're wrong. Anyway,
Yeah.
it was there that I realized, oh, if I'm just working in a bike shop, I have to live by all these other people's rules. I have to just take the money that they offer, and I have to maybe keep trying to like get jobs at other bike shops. I was supposed to work at Wheat Ridge Cyclery at one point, but they pulled back on their offer from me.
Ooh, they reneged?
They reneged, yeah. So like they told me like, oh, go ahead and put in your 2 weeks notice, and then I did, and then they're like, oh, actually we can't hire you. I don't know what that was all about. So I was like, well, I thought that was my option for having a future as a bike mechanic, was go to the big shop in town,
Yeah,
right?
I had one of our best mechanics at the shop in Raleigh actually came out here to work at Wheat Ridge.
Sure.
And it was like a big deal. It was like
Yeah.
the most prominent bike shop in the world. Wheat Ridge
Right.
Cyclery.
Right, and I was supposed
Excellent.
to work there at some point, and then
Alex
that fell
Gallego?
through.
I don't know if you know him, but
Nope. But anyway, so that was when I started to formulate my ideas for working from my home shop. I thought to myself,
so
If-
then you
if
started
I
working
could-
at home?
I kind of did. So I thought if I could only have so many customers who paid me whatever amount,
You did
enough.
the math.
I
You're
could,
like, I can make
I
millions.
could do this. So that was when I bought my house. It was
Yeah.
2008. This garage that we're in right now is like one of the number one reasons I bought this house, because it's huge. It's already heated. I insulated it and I turned it into a bike shop in 2009. That's when I quit Bike Station, and then I started working for Campus Cycles,
Campus Cycles.
which is about 3 miles due east on Evans Avenue.
Yeah. Right near the campus.
And I started working there with a very open and honest relationship with their ownership about what I was doing here.
Yeah.
Because I had already started kind of working from home here. I had gotten my mechanics license. I had started doing some race support stuff. I had started to try to, I wanted to build my work, my clientele around the more performance end of the spectrum. I didn't want to just fix flats for families anymore.
Yeah.
And that's just reality. Like I wanted to work on high-end stuff with high-end customers. So that's what I was kind of gearing my work towards. And I was working doing a lot of race support events at that time. The old Mountain States Cup used to do race support, neutral support for them for a couple of years. While also working at Campus Cycles as a mechanic there. And my agreement with them was simple. It was like, hey, I'll work in the back of your shop. I won't be seen by people. And I'll just bust out work for you and get things done, make you some money. And that's how it worked.
Yeah.
And their ownership was amenable to that.
Yeah.
They were cool. We had a good conversation, relationship back and forth. Still like those guys. They like me okay. But that's because I'm a jerk. But And then,
Well, it's like that. Like I think a lot is expected sometimes,
yeah,
and it's like a lot's expected for $12.50 an hour back then,
right, exactly.
and it's like no benefits. You make $12.50 an hour, and you get discounts on bikes.
right.
And it's kind of I mean, back in my day,
Mm-hmm.
it was understood that, yeah, you're going to buy 2 or 3 high-end bikes and you're going to sell them. You're going to ride them for the season
Yep.
and you're going to sell them.
Right.
You're within the rules,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like because of employee purchase or whatnot. But yeah, you buy your 3 or 4 bikes and you turn them over and you make a couple $100 on each bike. And that's what helps
That's
you
how
get
you
you
keep-
through the winter.
Get you through the winter and then get you on your next bike for the next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you did something big.
So yeah, from 2009
And it wasn't olive oil, just to
until
clarify.
2012, I did work from here and work there. So I'd work there and then I'd come home and I'd work here and I'd work at races on the weekends and I was working a lot but trying to build a clientele around my brand and try to do something with it. And I was presented with an opportunity with a business partner to open a retail store. Because I believed at a certain point that maybe I couldn't quite make it
You wanted
work.
to break into five-figure
Well,
incomes.
and then in 2012, it was like, well, if you could have a retail front, my thinking was, try to like alter the paradigm a bit. Make a very service-centric retail store, right? That was
Yeah.
my goal. Let's be a little different in Denver, because Denver had its fair share of just like walk in and there's just like bikes galore, right?
Car dealership style.
Yeah, just beautiful, like good-looking stores,
A plentiful
bikes
bounty.
everywhere. And I wanted to build a place that was like you walked in and it was like, oh, this is a place where bike mechanics work, where bike mechanics run the show. And that was what we did. Like we were like everybody who worked for me for the whole time that we had our store was a bike mechanic. And so I wanted to, and we did. I opened Gingy Cycles retail store in the Highlands in Denver. Pretty hot neighborhood at the time in 2012.
Yeah, it was
Just
coming up fast.
Yeah, it was coming up fast. I had my finger on the pulse of real estate and development back then.
Yeah.
I didn't. I just was like, I found this place. It was cool. It was on a good strip that felt like a neighborhood, and I could sort of insert. It was
Well,
7
then
miles from
2014, pot was legalized. 10 years, right?
here. Yeah,
So, like, that's when stuff in Denver got crazy.
yeah, stuff started going crazy. So yeah, I opened the Gingy Cycles retail store, bike shop in 2012, with the intent of making it well known for its bicycle service more than its bicycle sales.
Yeah.
Over the course of our 7.5 years of operating, I think we did that. I think I did that pretty well.
Yeah.
We sold Felt and Scott bikes over the years, but I think for the most part, that wasn't, like, nobody came in and was like, we heard you're a Felt dealer, and we want to buy, like.
It's felt. It's not
Right.
like, it's not Santa Cruz.
But I also learned that a
Wheat
retail.
Ridge has Santa Cruz.
Right, but I also learned that a retail store has to, like, have that brand that brings people in.
Yeah. Like Wheat Ridge.
Like Wheat Ridge. And they have them all. They have
Yeti.
Santa Cruz, Trek, Specialized. Boom.
You could still go with Giant.
I couldn't, though, actually, because Scott
Taylor?
Yeah. But I didn't want to.
Which is funny
I didn't want to
because-
be in bed with a big bike company.
Well, it was so.
Because I didn't want that control. I didn't want that sort of flavor infecting what I wanted to create with our store, which was bike mechanics, right? So smaller companies like Felt was great, but then we went with Scott, who's huge. So,
That's kind of how.
but that goes back to
Salvagetti-
the whole thing I was saying before,
Yeah.
where you try this and you try that and you try that to try to make it all work. And for me, I just couldn't make it work.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you
From
were
a financial
selling,
perspective.
if you were selling just towny bikes and just turning and burning,
Tried.
I think I can figure this out.
I don't,
Trust
You're
me.
welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome to try.
Go nuts.
You cannot. I can tell you how it'll go.
Yeah, dude, I was there in the evolution of the shop I worked at that was right down the road from his shop, and that's how we know each other.
Right.
Is that, I mean,
Friends from day one, by the way.
yeah. Oddly, I was just like, hi, I'm a person.
Dude.
Bikes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I watched it happen, go from like a shop that only sold these like specific brands, not going after the bougie brands, and then we had the bougie brands.
Right.
Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
But
Giant-
we had some cool
Giant.
brands.
Yeah.
Giant, Santa Cruz. I mean,
Yeah.
which actually, like, I don't think Giant's a bad brand. You just are a little weird.
No, the brands aren't bad. Like
Most bikes nowadays are actually really good.
when the companies are fine too, but like
You can't
I don't personally care. This-
buy a bad bike.
Right.
Like, it's really hard. I mean, I'm about to buy a Polygon. See what happens.
Yeah, do it.
Let's go full Polygon, dude.
Yeah.
I don't even
Just
know what
pull
a
the
Polygon
hardware
is.
and retighten it when it comes in.
Yeah, check all the bolts.
Yeah, it'll be fine. You'll be fine. That'll be one of our shows. Nick buys a Polygon, but he can only buy a Polygon if you subscribe today.
Yeah,
our
please
channel.
subscribe.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Anyway, that was retail store. It's a bike shop. What? I think we were running 6-7 employees during the summer.
Yeah, you got to do payroll. You got to do taxes.
Well, you have to
you
do all
gotta
the stuff that goes along with it, which
ordering,
I could do, but it wasn't my heart was never in it. I didn't love doing
inventory.
it. I wasn't able to take those components and see them as like efficient pieces to a profitable like overall picture. I was like, let's do really, really good bike work. So like we had like our bike check-in process was superb. Our checklist for bike work was great. Our work in and out was fast and it was good and it was all fantastic. So I could do all of that, but like incorporating all those other things into the overall picture to make everything add up, I just couldn't do it. So pulled the plug on it. Well,
yeah.
we were faced with the prospect of our rent going up by an additional $2,000 a month.
Yeah, you're in a hot neighborhood.
And I was like, well, I can barely make it work as is, let alone add that in. So I have to be done. So I quit.
You might as well work from a van.
No, never work in a van.
Mobile is not an option.
I shut it down in the end of 2019. Tried to leave the bike industry for a few months.
Yeah.
And basically got a job selling breathalyzers.
Wait a second.
Which
you were
is-
gonna.
What do you know?
We went and had lunch, and you were talking about working at Home Depot in the rental department.
So I did work at
This
Home
is what
Depot.
happens when people at bike shops step out of the industry, because you're like, what the hell do I do?
So I closed the Gingy Cycles retail store in the end of September 2019.
Yeah.
I spent the month of October less than sober. Okay?
Yeah.
If we're going to be honest. And for the first time in my life, this is why this is bike therapy.
Yeah, we're therapists.
We
Therapizing.
we have to be honest about things. Trying to figure out how to make a resume. I had not made a resume in like ever. Really.
Yeah.
And this is 2019. The world of resumes is totally different, right? Indeed is a thing. LinkedIn is a thing. All of these things exist. And you have to write your resume in such a way that like nobody, you have to have a fucking degree to decipher what it even means. That you're like job like title is. Anyway, so I spent that time in October trying to figure that out. Well, then October passed, and I was like, well, I need to get some work. So I did. I started working at Home Depot.
The rental department.
Because, no, they didn't have a rental department. They hired me because my life is full of unfulfilled promises from people. Just like Wheat Ridge Cyclery. But they hired me because they were going, the Bear Valley Home Depot near me, they were going to start a rental department. They didn't have one. So the whole point was for me to build their rental department.
To greatness.
Right? But you have to, at Home Depot, you have to start at the basics and kind of like work your way through quickly. But they're like, here's the plan, here's what we want you to do. And so I worked at Home Depot from Thanksgiving to Christmas 2019 and promptly figured out I didn't want to work there. My first day there, like the 20-year-old kid I was working with went through and showed me which areas of the store didn't have the cameras on them, so that's where you like go to like waste time on your phone when you're on the clock. So I'm like, I can't do
He's like,
this.
hey, man.
This isn't
Hey.
how I want. This isn't how I want to live.
When I drove plow trucks, we had the same area.
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't what I want to do. I don't want to like go through a time.
I want you to read this.
What do we want?
I sent a
out
resume.
loud? Am I reading this out
Yeah,
loud?
read this out
Okay.
loud. I sent somebody my resume.
Okay. Hi, Nick. Thank you for the interest in the position we are looking to hire for and submitting your resume. Unfortunately, we need someone who has a more practical experience as it relates to bikes, parts, accessories, and all the specifics. I wish you the best going forward. When was this?
Today.
Where are they finding someone with more experience?
So the mistake I made is I sent my video production
resume?
but I sent him a message and say, hey man, I've worked at shops for 20 years.
Yeah.
I've been a rider. I've done all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then I sent him my video production resume and I got that back and I'm just like, I don't even know. Cause like I sent that like a month ago.
Yeah.
And he's just getting back to me. So
Yeah, the world of getting jobs is fucked. So
yeah, I mean, dude, if I can work part-time somewhere doing the freelance thing, you need to do it sometimes.
sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I got that and I was just like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. So you ran a shop. You had the employees. You did all the things.
Did all the things.
And then
And I ran a good shop. Let's be clear. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the shop that
Good,
I
you
had,
should-
the shop
yeah.
that I made. I think we had something good, something awesome. No, we weren't raking in lots of dollars.
well, you weren't
Maybe we could
selling...
have gotten there at some point. Not in that location. It was too expensive.
Yeah,
but
that's
like,
pricey.
I am proud of what we had for a while it existed. So yeah.
Then
Then I worked
That-
at Home Depot for
Then you worked at Home
6
Depot.
weeks over
and then
the
you
holidays.
did breathalyzers.
And then I sold breathalyzers, and then the breathalyzer company let me. They didn't let me go.
They gave you an option.
No. They eliminated my position 2 weeks into COVID lockdowns in 2020.
Okay.
So my position for the breathalyzer company was I was the head of expansion,
Oh yeah.
which was not happening.
There was no more expansion.
Expansion in the breathalyzer world was not happening. People were still. I guess they assumed people weren't going to be getting DUIs because everybody was staying home, which was probably true for the most part.
Oh yeah.
for
I
a
could
little
see.
while.
Yeah, for a little while.
Yeah. The whole.
I mean, solid year.
Yeah, the whole breathalyzer industry is based on like we need people to get DUIs.
Best bike rides in the city.
2020. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Full speed through the city.
Yeah. Nobody around.
Safer than the bike
Clear
path.
air. You could see the mountains.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
amazing.
Fantastic. So, they eliminated my position April 1st of 2020.
And then you're back to the garage.
Yeah. but not on purpose. Like,
I didn't mean to.
look at what you see here. This is a big evolution. Yeah, in 2020, I had like a countertop about this big in the corner back there with enough tools to like do basic stuff. And I had people start to contact me during that year because bike shops were really busy. And with all of the restrictions that were on places, they couldn't get work done quick enough. And so I had a lot of people contacting me saying, hey, could you fix this? Could you look at this one thing? And then I kept my social media accounts live, and I would take photos and be like, yeah, I'm fixing this, doing this. And people would be like, are you working on bikes? And I'd be like, yeah. And then I get more customers, more people came out of the woodwork. I kept things live, one little thing after another. And I came back all the way back around to where I started back in 2009, which is here in my garage with bikes all around me and just being at my house and people coming to me by appointment to get their bikes fixed.
You don't have really tall ceilings.
I love it.
But you have low overhead.
I get it. It's good.
Oh.
It's good. You were waiting for that one, weren't
Dude,
you?
I've been waiting the whole time.
Waiting for weeks.
I bet they're decent sized ceilings. It's not low in here, but I mean, they're like
it's fine.
9 foot.
It's your normal.
It's a 9-foot
Normal
ceiling.
situation.
But low overhead.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of other bills.
Yeah. You don't
Yeah.
have a building that you have to pay for.
A building, and I don't have to pay employees, and I don't have to pay all sorts of other things.
And manage them. You're like, don't do that.
Right. Yeah.
But do that.
Exactly. Like today, I went on a bike ride with some friends,
Yep.
and
Jeff Young.
I had a customer be like, hey, I need to pick my bike up. And I was like, hey, I'm riding right now. I catch it this time. And he was like, cool, glad you're riding.
Thank you.
And that's where I'm at now. And it's awesome because
That's amazing.
I have a customer base who comes enough. There's enough of them, and they understand the give and take of our relationship where I'll do anything and everything I can to get their bikes rolling perfectly as fast as I can. And sometimes that might mean you have to wait till the evening to pick your bike up because I'm going to get a bike ride in.
Yeah.
So, but my customers want me riding bikes because that's
But then you could probably like
awesome.
say, hey, do you mind if I swing by at 8?
right. Also that, yeah.
9?
Perfectly fine.
You up at 9? Can I swing
Up
by
at
and
9.
grab it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, make it quick. Yeah.
Exactly.
So you work with the people.
I work
You
with
work
it.
with them. And you're certified? You're bona fide?
I'm bona fide. Well, I'm
You're licensed and insured.
licensed and insured.
You
so
run a shop from your garage
I have a
legitimately.
Yes, I run a bike shop repair service from my garage under the allowance of the city and county of Denver, under what is called a home occupation permit, which basically means they have permitted me to have this business here. I have sales tax licenses through the city and county of Denver and through the state of Colorado. I have a business registration with the state of Colorado, as well as liability insurance with some company. I don't remember the name.
You give them money every month. And
I
they
give them
say,
money, and they say,
well, we might take care of you.
Here's your insurance. Yeah.
Yes.
I have a Google Voice. I pay money for Google Voice, so I have a phone number you can call or text.
At any time.
Like, that's all that's important. I've got a website. Man,
That's all you need, dude.
fucking pro shit up in here.
Next level.
Yeah. I'm about as next level as a garage gets.
Are you going to start a TikTok?
Am I starting it, well, for the business or for my sick dance for my sick dance moves?
Are you planning any
Because there's a
moves?
huge TikTok following for middle-aged ginger men dancing.
What if it's
with their shirts off?
What if it's
So,
traditional Irish
It's
dancing?
a certain following, but people are into it.
Are you the river dancing?
No,
The way those legs move,
I mean it's respectable,
it's
but I can't.
wild.
No. So. And then you came to me and said, "Let's make a YouTube show," and I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's do that." Because
Why not?
because the world needs this.
Why not just get on camera and talk for an hour?
There's no reason not to.
Yeah, and that's where we're at.
We're past an hour. We're at
Yeah.
9:23.
Yeah, so
We've
we
had
talked.
people stick with us tonight. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for
We
joining
went long
us.
tonight.
Yeah. Make sure you
Nick-
smash
Nick-
that
Nick's
thumbs
gotta
up.
Go home. But
I do have to go home and get the sleeps.
yeah, we can call it quits.
I think it's time.
So this was good. That's who we are. We want this channel to be
Fun, friendly,
a weekly
informative.
fun chat about bikes, bike world, local bike stuff,
Denver.
life with bikes and kids. 'Cause
Just,
that'll
yeah.
happen.
A weekly talk. Let's just sit down and talk.
Let's sit down and talk and join us with it. Tell your friends. We need these subscribers.
Double down on the subs.
So get down there, hit the sub.
And
Do you know what I found out?
what?
The oil changes in the Ferrari are a lot more than I thought they were supposed to be. So we need those subs.
Okay,
We need those subs.
a Bugatti Veyron. Do you know what the Bugatti Veyron
I do.
is?
Yeah.
Okay,
Lego makes one.
a lot less for the Lego model than the oil change.
Mm.
How much is an oil change in a Bugatti Veyron?
So my Ford Flex is I think $85.
Yep.
So I'm gonna guess like $185.
$40,000.
We're done.
$1 million supercar. $40,000 oil change. No joke. They have a special team that comes out and does it for you. Surprise!
Do they do other things for you while they're there? Like clean your bathroom?
I don't know. I heard when the
Pick
car
up
breaks.
the dog poop in the backyard? Like, are these guys just sort of at your disposal for the afternoon, or is it just
Just oil change.
oil change only?
Only premium Bavarian oil change.
Same price as a Fox Fork. Well, that's true. I need to charge more for these Fox Forks oil changes.
Yeah.
I've been
I
too
mean-
nice. What's the Wheat Ridge Cyclery charge for them?
What's
We're gonna be
Reach?
double that because we're double better.
Yeah, we're double. The oil we use is double slicker, dude.
All right, so much
Slick,
so
honey.
much smoother.
Use that for my paintball gun.
Yeah, it's got that viscosity.
That's the right viscosity.
It's the best viscosity.
Not too
we
thin.
We only use the best viscosity.
The most premium viscosity. Look, when you put
It's
this.
the best. You know, a lot of people say we have the best viscosity.
Yeah, it's not
It's
too
true.
thick, not too thin.
Yeah.
On my
It's just
track
right.
bike, I run Triflow in the bearings.
Oh man.
Oh man. So,
Okay, we need to let these people go to bed. We need to go to
hey,
bed.
good night. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Let us know
so many
show
good
ideas
things to come.
in the comments. Show ideas in the comments.
Yeah, we got a list. We got stuff coming up. We have guests. We have ideas. We've got events. Hopefully, we'll get going.
Group rides,
Yeah.
harassment on the trail.
Yes,
First person to get
trail harassment.
a ticket from Jeffco. Which
Yeah,
isn't
we're
that
gonna.
hard.
We're gonna. One of our goals this year is to get kicked out of Apex by the park rangers.
Yeah, 100% with a live stream going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We-
it's
should be
called
easy.
bibs only, if you know what I mean.
Wah-wah.
And that's gonna end it.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Sayonara.
Good night.